You'll probably recognize your
Alright,
sack
so I'm
dressed
Rabbit
up just
Jellyfish.
like you left.
Hi, I'm Baby
In
J,
case you need a
or
refresher course,
also known
use
as the
left
guy on the
stick
right.
to move around, and the
Yeah, if you
action
saw
button for
SGDQ
anything from a dainty
2016,
hop
you
to
might
a
know
dirty
PPJ.
great leap.
He became
It'll all
a
come
meme by
flooding.
doing literally
You're a
nothing.
nimble little thing,
Probably
aren't
one of
you?
the most impressive things
Come
I've
on,
ever seen
off
on the
you trot.
internet. But yeah, so we're running this
It's not
game,
always the
LittleBigPlanet
done
2.
thing to gad about the
It's a 2.5D platformer for the most part. There are a few parts that aren't platformers, but we'll get to that. We're running co-op, New Game Plus. So the co-op thing is obvious. There are two of us. We're working together to beat the game. There are a few co-op exclusive strats that we're going to be doing. Like you saw, something we were doing there before was what we call leapfrogging, where if we're standing just the right distance away from each other, the person who's behind can jump and grab the person in front, and that'll fling them in front of the other person. And we can kind of chain those together to move slightly faster than walking, so we're going to try to do stuff like that throughout the run. Doesn't save that much time, but it looks kind of cool, so we do it anyway. Like I said, we're also running New Game Plus. This game doesn't really have like a New Game Plus mode. By New Game Plus, I just mean we're playing on a completed save file already. There are two big reasons for that. One is that PPJ lives in Europe and I live here in the US. So we mainly play co-op online, but you don't actually unlock online play until you've beaten the first 5 or 6 levels. So it's really kind of impossible to do an online co-op run on a new save file. So that's one big reason we do New Game Plus, just for convenience. The other reason is that we have all the stickers unlocked, and stickers are sort of these little pictures you can place down in the levels, and some levels have sticker sensors where you can place them down and use them to unlock shortcuts or power-ups that'll help us go faster. So that's another added convenience of running New Game Plus. So we actually have one of those coming up pretty soon. I'm gonna try to accurately place these sunglasses on this guy. Close enough. And you saw a little bit of multitasking there where as I placed the sunglasses down, PPJ grabbed onto me and dragged me to the side so we didn't have to stop moving while I was placing the stickers. We do a lot of stuff like that where pretty much we just try to multitask and have at least one person going as fast as they possibly can. Which also means there are going to be a lot of deaths in this run. So like, it may end up looking messy at times, but I promise we're going as fast as we can. So if one person goes really fast and ends up far ahead of the other person, then, well, one thing the person who's further behind can just kind of die and spawn at the next checkpoint to catch up. But the other thing is that the game tries to keep both players on the screen at the same time, which means if we get too far apart from one another, then it gets really hard for some people to see because the camera kind of like stretches out. So one thing we're trying to do here is what we call co-op jump. Oh, cool.
Nice.
So what we did there was PPJ jumped up in the air. I grabbed his feet and dragged him to the side, which made him essentially land on his face. And then as the game was pushing him back up, so he's always standing. So here's some of that death beast I was talking about. I'm just gonna die here. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, co-op jumps. So PPJ landed on his side. When he was standing back up, he can time a jump so that the standing up force and the jumping force will combine, and he'll end up getting a really high jump from that. That ends up being really useful in a couple places in the run. But yeah, we were doing it there just so we could get, we were trying to get some of the prize bubbles earlier, just so we could make it past that section a little quicker than usual. You leapfrog there, hopefully climb up these stairs. Oops, I'm not going fast. Okay, so normally you have to push these blocks in a way that you can climb up and make it over those books, but PPJ just kind of stands on the big block and I push it over and he jumps off with all the speed and oops. That works. I meant to land on it there with PPJ, but I kind of missed. All right, and then we got kind of a long horizontal stretch here where we just kind of grab and swing on some stuff. You'll see those like kind of mini cutscene things open up where this guy named Da Vinci talks to us. And we'll try to jump before those as much as possible so our momentum carries us forward a bit through the cutscene. I'm gonna pop here as well so we can activate this level link. So that's a level link that takes us to later sections in some of the levels. And in order to activate them, we either both need to be there in front of it at the same time, or one of us needs to die in order for the other person to activate it alone. So here we get the grappling hook, which is pretty cool. We can build up some nice speed with it just by swinging off of stuff and shortening the rope as we're swinging. So PPJ is staying down there because there's a cutscene we're skipping here. The cutscene only triggers if both of us are in the trigger zone at the same time. So if I go up alone and he stays down below and then just dies once I'm past it, we end up skipping the cutscene. Yeah, the grappling hook is nice, but also not because, well, like you just saw there, it has a bit of an auto-aim feature, which means if we're not explicitly telling it where to aim, it'll grapple onto the nearest grabbable thing. And a lot of the time, the nearest grabbable thing is each other. So we'll just end up like grappling onto each other, which can totally screw with each other's momentum and kind of mess us up. So we have to be really careful to stay out of each other's way. Especially in a level like this. This has a lot of grappling heavy stuff. And this level is also really cycle heavy, so especially early on there's a cycle we want to hit. PPJ is going to go for this swing. Close. Oh. That works. It's still going. Oh no. Yeah, so we wanted to, there was sort of a bounce pad sort of section we skipped there by PPJ doing that kind of weird 360 swing. We didn't quite make it. We ended up missing a checkpoint. But yeah, again, this is one of those levels that is going to look kind of messy because, especially with the way the grappling hook can give us a lot of speed, one of us might end up flying past the other person and ending up like way further ahead. So there's just going to be a lot of like one of us dying and one of us going really fast. Works. Yeah. There's also a lot of improvisation in this level because it's really difficult to be precise with the grappling hook. Alright, that's pretty decent. Yeah, this is another two-part level. There's a section here where we can end up building up a lot of speed. I kind of messed it up, but that's fine. I'm doing this blind, I guess. No, it's all good. But yeah, if you do that perfectly, you can get through the entire thing in like maybe 5 seconds. But I kind of messed up with like conserving my momentum at the beginning. That's fine because we're just kind of trying to beat that cycle at the end of the level, which we ended up beating anyway. Or PPJ ended up beating it anyway. PPJ is just kind of carrying me right now. That's fine. I'm totally okay with being carried as long as it means we're going fast. Alright, so we totally play this level. Like all the way, for sure. It's not sarcasm at all. So we're just gonna do this. All right, that's that level. So there's the joke with that level. Well, yeah, I mean, you spawn in, the scoreboard is like right next to you, and the joke is you try to run to the scoreboard and this wall pops out, and he's like, ha, got you there. You didn't see that wall, did you? And then you have to play through the entire level just to get around that wall. But it's not a very high wall, we can just kind of co-op jump over it. And it ends up being like 5 seconds long, it's great. It's probably like the most exciting skip discovery that we've had in this game, probably. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, this boss fight, we kind of just have to run back and forth and pull these levers and press this button, which is a lot more of a challenge when you're playing alone, because you have to run back and forth and kind of like dodge these electrical yo-yo things. Grappling hook. But since there are two of us, we can kind of just camp on either side and like pull the levers when they become available. But yeah. So that was the first section. Those were the Da Vinci levels. This is normally the part where you unlock online play, which is what I was talking about before. So if not New Game Plus, we'd either have to both be like running separately in parallel until we both unlock online or something weird, I don't even know. So these levels start to get really co-op heavy because we get a new gadget called the Grabinators, which are essentially just gloves that let you pick up and throw objects, including each other. So that ends up being really useful. So for example, coming up there's some stairs that you normally have to use the Grabinators to like shift some blocks around so you can actually jump up the stairs, but I can actually just throw PPJ to the top of the stairs instead of doing that. I'm gonna wait down here because that sign that flies by, if we both go up there at the same time, it flies by before we can actually jump across like that. So I just stay down below so PPJ has like a clear path. Oh. Alright, I can also use PPJ as a backup there in case like the button doesn't mysteriously trigger. I'm gonna not throw you. Sometimes I throw PPJ there to gain a little extra distance, but I didn't like that cycle from the sign, so I decided not to. So there I threw PPJ and hit a bounce pad during the cutscene, and he bounced all the way to the next checkpoint while the cutscene was happening. So he's over there now. Kills these enemies while I spawn. Then I can just kind of throw him past these enemies. We can do a little skip here. Uh-oh. Doing what's called a Grabinator jump. You saw all that extra height he got there. Essentially, a Grabinator jump is rather than someone throwing you by just kind of holding R1 to pick you up and letting go of R1 to throw them, the person holding them can jump, and then you can jump out of their arms. And essentially the two jumps will combine, so he gets his own jump plus my jump. And so we use that extra height to just kind of jump over and skip that train car. Alright, so in this level, we're supposed to use cakes as zip lines, I guess, because that makes sense. But we're going to try not to do that, because again, we have Grabinators. We can just kind of throw each other past these sections. This is probably the only place right there where we actually use the cake as intended. Well, there's somewhere later on where we use it as intended, but it's not as a zip line. Yeah, he just throws me past here. Over here we can do a Grabinator jump to skip some of these enemies. Here's a part where we use the cakes as intended because PPJ isn't here to throw me up. Throws me past this section. I wait for this enemy to be killable. And again, this saves a lot of time because there's a ton of stuff to do here with the cakes. Do a little skip here where I throw PPJ up here, he just jumps up to the next section. And here's another sort of intended. If he positions himself just right like he did, he can bounce up those spoons like 2 at a time. Oh, wait. Oh, never mind. That's kind of risky. It's all good. Okay, so that was a little skip there too. Normally you have to like throw a cake at that enemy and then this platform like flips around and you can bounce up. But you can actually just grab onto it and kind of shimmy your way across and jump to the bounce pad that's supposed to flip over. But yeah. That was a pretty good level. It's kind of dense with some co-op strats, but we didn't mess up. Did we mess up any? I don't even remember. There are too many to keep track of. I think I messed up like a cycle thing at the beginning, but it's no big deal. It's kind of hard to maintain that cycle. Speaking of cycles, one advantage to playing offline. Well, there are a few advantages to playing offline. One is that you get a lot less loading screens, which means there's a very good chance that we'll like, I don't want to say destroy the online record, but we might beat it by a healthy margin. But time runs without loads anyway, so it probably won't actually be world record. Also, now that I said that, we're probably gonna like choke and throw and not even get RTA record, which would be sad.
I don't know. Saw you do it on a stream a few months ago.
Oh yeah, we did like we did an extra life marathon, a media molecule themed. Oh wow, that did not flip over as expected. But we did an extra life marathon. Themed around media molecule games, and PPJ and I did an LBP2. I don't like that. We did an LBP2 speedrun during that, and we ended up breaking the record by accident, which was pretty cool. Be nice if that happened again. So I'm kind of trying to concentrate on this level because it's all about like using this cake gun, and it's, as you can probably see, it's kind of awkward to aim and shoot. The rate of fire is really slow. I can't make that. Rate of fire is really slow, and the projectile itself is huge. You can do this part and I'll die, I guess. Or I'll wait until you make it across. Yeah, okay. That's good. So I want to die there because I want PPJ to do this part alone. Because if he jumps in just the right spot, he can make it to the scoreboard and skip a cutscene. If both of us get up there, then we both have to make the exact same jump at the exact same time, and it just ends up being kind of difficult. So it's usually best if we go one at a time. And this is a really cycle-heavy level, so if, yeah, I don't think too much interesting stuff happens in this level, so if you want to read some donations, that'd be cool.
Can do. $5 from Anonymous. PBJ finally getting his chance to unclench those hands. Also, $5, and PPJ, I'm probably going to butcher this, but it's from a Toria Tavatan.
Yeah.
There's a little skip we can do here. All right, cool. We both got it. So we just kind of jump up and skip one of those platforms. We're also going to do a co-op jump here. Hopefully get up to this bounce pad. We're having a bit of trouble with that in practice, but we got it relatively quickly anyway. It's all good. We can just skip 2 of those 3 floors. Don't have to deal with the enemies. And this is a part with a really long cycle, so we just kind of have to wait this out, usually. We don't even have to rush too much. Yeah, so I pretty much have to wait for like that little line of electricity to get all the way over here. And once we get past these things, we have to climb up on top of them and bounce our way up. If we time jumps just right, you can see the difference in height I got versus what PPJ got. If we jump at just the right time, we get a whole bunch of extra jump height. That's pretty much the end of that level. So then we got a boss fight coming up, which has some nice co-op strats. I get to use PPJ as a weapon. It's pretty fun. Also, look at those eyes. Alright. So the way this this boss usually works is that you pick up a cake. That's what these 6 levels or 5 levels are all about. It's all about cake. Pick up a cake. The enemy shoots some attacks at you that you dodge, and then its face opens up, and you throw a cake, and you get a hit. And then that happens 2 more times. You dodge attacks, throw a cake, dodge attacks, throw a cake. But if we're quick enough, we can throw a cake, throw another cake, and then I can throw PPJ. We can get all 3 hits in 1 cycle. So then we do that 1 more time here. There are actually 3 floors, but we only have to do that again here, because there's a different strat for the 3rd floor. Also, we somehow skipped the music trigger, so now this level's quiet and awkward. It's good. Nice. Okay, so we both died there during the cutscene, which is cool, because we can warp back to the elevator that way. Alright, so here we don't actually have to bother with the cakes, because the wall on the right side is actually grabbable. Which means if we position ourselves just right, we can grab onto this wall and then just kind of like hold right to kick our legs like this and reach out to the boss, and then we can just kind of finish it off like this. It's super easy and super fast. So that was about as well as that boss fight could have gone. We one cycled every phase, so that's good. So now we get to go on to the Clive levels. Also at the end of the boss fights, you'll see on most levels, as soon as we hit the scoreboard, I'll open the start menu and return to pod. After boss levels, I actually wait a little bit and wait for a continue button to pop up. Because if I press that continue button, it moves me straight to the cutscene directly after the boss fight. And if you're playing on a save file, or on a new save file, rather than New Game Plus like we were, you do have to play all the cutscenes, even if you're skipping them from the start menu, like I'm here, for example, to unlock the next level. So we also carry that over into New Game Plus. So that's why I do that on the boss fights. It's a faster way of loading the next cutscene. Okay, so PPJ dies here because there's a grappling hook section that's just way easier to do solo. It's very short. Also, shoutouts to Riddle for finding a stupidly difficult strat that only saves 3 seconds here. But I don't know why anyone would ever try, except in an IL. But it looks cool, so I'll give you credit for that if you're watching. Alright, this is Clive. He was cooperative today. Sometimes he follows us over the to this elevator. Sometimes he doesn't. We have to like run back and grab him. And it's really annoying, but it's all good. Okay, you should pop probably. I missed the lever. Okay. So the whole point of this level is to basically rescue these things called sack bots, which we don't do because that's slow. Okay, that works. So there are these bounce pads on the sides of the walls, because normally you're chasing these sack bots around, and if you corner them, these bounce pads are here to bounce them off the wall so they don't get stuck. But we can actually use those bounce pads to get a little bit of speed in places. I'm getting sniped. And there's a little strat we can do here where... Oh, we missed it. Here, I can just throw you. Or I'll throw this sack bot and then I'll throw you. Or I'll throw both. Oh, okay. Back up. So we wanted to immediately throw those sack bots both there, so there'd be 2 of them hitting the button and we'd get through that section twice as fast. We still did it, but it was a little messy, but that's fine. Like I said, most of this run is pretty messy. Get another bounce pad boost, and we can conserve our speed by bunny hopping. I don't think that's something I mentioned. Just because bunny hopping means you're off the ground more, which means there's less friction, which means you keep your speed for longer. So we do that a lot whenever we gain extra speed, pretty much. Oop. Alright, so this is a strat we can't actually do online. I'm going to place that sticker there as fast as I can and then throw PPJ here, and we can end up skipping a cycle here. That doesn't work online because for some reason closing dialog boxes is a lot slower. When we're playing offline, we can just kind of spam circle, and every time we hit the circle button it closes a new dialog box, but online there's like a half-second delay. So it's actually impossible to hit that cycle that we hit. And this level was really interesting to route, because there are a lot of different places where we could be throwing each other with the grabinators to save time. But like you can see, I spawned here without them, so depending on what we do and where, it might not save time in the long run, because like if PPJ throws me somewhere... Oh, good throw. PPJ throws me somewhere and I want to throw him later on, like he might spawn at a checkpoint that doesn't have grabinators, so then we're kind of stuck. Like, there are all sorts of trade-offs in this level that I can't really go into detail about right now because there are too many, but yeah. So we're going to try to do a grabinator jump here. So bounce up high. Didn't end up saving time because PPJ did a risky thing anyway, but when he ended up catching up to me. But that grabinator jump there is usually the safest way of doing that fast. Okay, so PPJ dies here because there's a cutscene skip down here. I might not get. I've been having trouble with this lately. Okay, got it.
Nice.
Cool. So if you just land straight down there, then Clive comes like flying down with you. Oop, wrong level. And he scolds you for not rescuing enough sackbots and stuff. But if you land on like one of those little red lines on the side of the wall, like I did, then you can jump down without triggering the cutscene. But usually, since you're like falling through this section that's basically falling apart, it's really easy to just kind of get tossed around and yeah, just keep going. So I tried to pass a bomb to PPJ there so we didn't have to like, that's me. Okay. So yeah, back there I tried to pass a bomb to PPJ so he didn't have to use that timed explosive. I'm gonna carefully roll this past here. Then we're gonna do a grabinator jump here. Okay, that's good. So you're supposed to lose the grabinators there, but we did a grabinator jump there so that I could grab onto this bomb and keep them. Essentially skipping the part where, essentially skipping the power-up remover. And I want the grabinators because we want to manipulate this flamethrower here to shoot this bridge immediately. Like that. Oh, but you died. That's fine. Okay, yeah, you can still make it over. So normally you have to blow up that stack of red bricks. And it usually takes like 3 or 4 shots from the flamethrower, but if I throw PPJ just the right way, then it shoots the middle of the bridge and breaks it immediately, which lets us get past it a lot quicker. So that's why we wanted to keep the grabinators there. And if I died with the grabinators, there would be no way to get them back, so that's kind of like a first try only sort of strat. So it's good we got that. So we're supposed to be pulling these levers to attract sackbots, and but we're not saving any, so it just kind of looks weird. I'm dead. I'm just gonna die. So this is the unfortunate part about this level, is that if like one of us ends up being slow, then you just have to die a whole bunch of times to keep catching up, just to make sure the camera's on the other person who's further ahead. Alright. So we can skip a cutscene here by throwing me through this hole in that wall of bombs. So that's useful. Here's an awkward cutscene where it shows sackbots not following us. And I'm probably just gonna die here because I'm too close to this electricity. Again, I'm gonna die here. It's best to do this section solo. 1, because it's easier to control, and 2, also because I'm gonna spawn up ahead here as he hits this wall. I'm gonna try to hit this really tight cycle. Okay, I got it. That's really hard. Because in that section, those platforms with bounce pads on them kind of extend out of the wall.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm trying to explain something else, PPJ. Calm down. But yeah, well, long story short, that cycle's really hard to hit. What happened there, why PPJ got a random boost of speed, is because if you're just the right distance from those bombs, far enough away where you don't die, but close enough, you can actually get a speed boost from the force of the explosion. But if you're too close, you die. If you're too far away, nothing happens. So it's really hard to get. So that was kind of unexpected. All right, so I got a decent cycle here. So this level's really weird and online because of the lag. Like, there's some complicated machines like that one that just kind of freak out because the lag correction doesn't really know what to do. little skip we can do here. Jumping up there. I'm dead. So the reason I didn't jump there is because there's this thing called an edge jump, where if you run right to the edge of an edge, you end up getting a boost of speed, a really tiny boost of speed. But the thing is, if you run really close to the edge, if you mistime your jump even slightly, you just kind of run off and look like an idiot, like me. But yeah, we tried to do those throughout the run just to get little bits of speed or try to make slightly further jumps. I'm gonna die because death abuse. Probably saved like a whole frame there.
Yeah.
We skipped the music trigger again. This run just really wants to be awkward.
Shall we fill the silence with a donation?
If you would like to.
Sure. Got $100 from WilliamSem42.
Oh, hey.
Good luck, Rabid. Try not to owe my dog. Hope the run is amazing. Walma7 Love. Whatever that means.
Williamson is a... she runs The Witness. And usually every time I pop by her stream, I yell at her to panic and spam, "Oh my dog." So that's probably why she said that. Oops. Yeah, throw me. Okay, so there's a co-op section here. You're supposed to like ride 2 of these cranes across, but we can skip one by getting thrown. And here's another place where I want to keep the grabinators. Because if I keep the grabinators there, with that really tight jump, I can throw PPJ. He can bunny hop across that pit, maintain all his speed, and we can skip some stuff with the sackbots. But you can hear screaming in the background because we basically just killed them. But it's all good. Sackbots end up being really annoying later on in the run anyway. So we get our revenge, our preemptive revenge on them in that level. So this is the only level in the game that you are required to ace it. For the most part. I guess you don't have to ace it, but if we both die in the section where this giant robot chicken is chasing us, then we have to restart the entire level. So we have to be really careful here. PBJ's already dead, but that's fine, because again, anything involving the grappling hook is best done with one player. And if you get far enough ahead of the chicken, you actually end up having to wait for it. If you go too slow, the chicken slows down to like make your life easier. But if you get too far ahead, you kind of have to wait a little bit. So that ended up being fine. So yeah. So again, we just got to make sure we don't both die here. One of us is probably going to die intentionally close to the end of this section because there's this really hard jump we want to make that saves a few seconds. So PPJ's further up behind, so he's probably going to die there. Yeah. Then I'm going to try to do this perfect edge jump to make it all the way to the scoreboard, because that'll allow me to skip the cutscene. It's a really hard jump. Yeah, I didn't make it. I jumped a little too early. Yeah, normally we'd be able to skip all this stuff and just land on the scoreboard. Again, I'm waiting just so I can continue straight to the next cutscene. But overall, I think that area was pretty good.
Yeah.
Alright, so the next level is pretty interesting because PPJ discovered that race gates can double as catapults sometimes, apparently. You'll see what I mean in a bit. Right after this cutscene. So there's a sticker sensor in this level where when we place a sticker on it, it causes a race gate to fly in from the sky. So I'm going to place that there. You can't see it because the camera's messed up. But so PPJ stands on the race gate, and then he removes the sticker, which causes the race gate to fly up back into the sky. Oh, here. And if he's standing on it, it just catapults him out of bounds like this. And we just happen to land above like the third section of the level, and there's a hole in the ceiling that he can get down through, like that. And that lets us skip probably like 2/3 to 3/4 of the level, which is really nice. I think overall that saves like 2 or 3 minutes, maybe more, I don't remember. I think this used to be like a 5-minute long level, and now it's like 1 or 2 minutes. So this entire section of the game, or I should say that LittleBigPlanet is really big on it with its user-generated content. Like it has a really advanced create mode and a really big community and stuff. So what the story mode's main purpose is to essentially show the players what they can do with the create mode. This entire story mode was essentially made in the game's create mode. So it seems like each area is kind of demoing a new feature of LittleBigPlanet 2 that LittleBigPlanet 1 didn't have. And this section's all about the controlinator, which is like this little seat that we can sit in. You can use it to wire up player input, so that like you can do stuff like this where we sit in this camel and like shoot things. But yeah, this is a really long auto scroller, so if you have donations, you should just go ahead and read all of them.
Oh boy, will I ever. Well, we got $5 from Darkened Duck to start things off.
Okay.
Hey guys, so glad to see that you made it into this year's AGDQ as well. I love running and watching LBP2 with all its cool tricks. Shoutouts from Dick Denmark. Donation goes to PPJ's Choice. $10 from July Blossom. LittleBigPlanet 2 has such a special place in my heart. Thank you so much, Rabbit Jellyfish and PPJ, for playing and reminding me how much I adore this series. $5 from Mogzol. Haven't seen an LBP2 speedrun before, but watching this game brings back a lot of fond memories. Good luck, guys.
Oh, I just want to say real quick that there's sort of this obscure Easter egg that it seems like a lot of people don't know about it. If you do the Konami code at the beginning of the level, the music changes and you get these sunglasses on the camel.
Awesome.
Which is pretty cool.
$5 from Anonymous. Finally, some co-op action. Hope you two have fun. Oh, and try not to die of boredom during the auto-scrollers. $200 from Shed. Long-time watcher, first-time attendee. Good luck to all runners. $5 from Mr. Airplane. It's the most I can do now, but have fun with LittleBigPlanet 2. I haven't played in years. $50 from Matt the Doctor. LittleBigPlanet 2 is responsible for some of my favorite memories with my best friends. We spent many hours together finding ridiculous custom levels and going through the story mode. Donating $50 to save Otacon in Metal Gear Solid, and I'll be donating an additional $25 if this is read on stream, and the announcer says, "Hey kid, I'm Michael Jordan. Good luck out there." And on that, oh, go ahead.
Shoot this one. Oh no, keep going, sorry.
On the note with saving Otacon, there's a bid war between saving Otacon and saving Meryl. Otacon is currently ahead by $300, so pretty safe there. $20 from Slide Drum. Longtime viewer, but never got to see an LBP game live. Had to stay up to catch my all-time favorite co-op game. First year I can afford to donate to a great cause. Had to do it during this run. Good luck to all the runners. $50 from Dale204. Thanks again to all you awesome people. Almost everyone in my family has been diagnosed with cancer. Oof. And not one has lost the fight. Well done. Here's the first of many donations. It was a roller coaster of a donation there. $25 from Neoman17. First time donating, and I have to say I do not believe that reverse boss order can be done in a platformer like DKC. So I'm donating for Void to prove me wrong. Let's fight cancer and get some backwards bananas.
Alright. Thanks for all the donations.
Absolutely.
There are plenty of auto-scrollers coming up. By plenty, I mean like 2 or 3. But yeah, if you're going to donate, you should totally donate now. So we have plenty of things to read.
2 or 3 is more than plenty in any game.
Yeah. So we have this boss fight. Usually what happens here is I target the boss's weak point while PPJ protects us from the boss's attacks. That kind of makes our lives easier. There's this kind of a weird strategy where I can trigger multiple hits on the weak point before he covers up his eye. I don't really know how it works, but essentially I just aim my cursor slightly to the left and then spam X to shoot while slowly moving my cursor over his eye, and that seems to trigger multiple hits most of the time. Again, I don't know why it works, but it's slightly faster, so I do it anyway. Only got 1 hit that time, that's fine. Also, these rockets are really annoying to destroy. Especially online, like, the lag makes them a lot harder to destroy for some reason. And also, you would think with those rockets that have multiple hits that it'd be faster for both of us to attack the rockets at the same time. But for some reason, it seems like if both of us shoot at something at the same time, then our shots sort of cancel out, and it ends up being slower. So that's why we kind of, when one of us starts shooting at one of those rockets, we just kind of let the other person handle it. Yeah, so that's the end of that. I think that's the longest auto-scroller. Maybe the one at the end of the game is longer. Or, I don't know, they're all pretty long. I don't want to talk about it. This isn't an auto-scroller though, so that's fine. But it is a level that we're usually pretty bad at. Which is weird, because it's actually a pretty easy level. It's just the sackbots are really annoying. This time we're forced to actually rescue the sackbots instead of just like running past them. There's a lot of multitasking in this level too, where like I'll handle half and PPJ handles the other half. And yeah, this costume isn't quite doing it for me right now. Let's use this one. So the sackbots are really annoying because they're really easy to kill by accident. And if you accidentally kill a sackbot, it takes forever for a replacement to spawn. And you always have to... You have to rescue 4 in each section, and you pretty much get exactly 4 to start out with. So if any die on the way to the rescue point, then we're sort of out of luck. So we gotta build a bridge here, which is perfect because they're 2 bridge pieces, and there are 2 of us. So we each just grab one, let the other person handle it. We gotta wait for these guys to... So this is one of the few parts in the game where there's RNG. Whether or not a safe section of this conveyor belt spawns is random, so we just kind of have to pray that we get safe spots and can rescue the sackbots. Oops, sorry. Rescue them fast. I don't want to risk that. Did I mess you up there? I was trying to stay out of the way. Ooh, that might be bad. Okay, we're good. So if you don't put a sackbot like dead center on one of those pieces of the conveyor belt, I can talk. Then when it's getting sucked up into that tube, it can kind of wait. Something's happening and I can't see. Okay, we're good. It gets sucked up like halfway into that tube and then just gives up and falls out and dies. So like the safest thing to do is to put a dead center on each of those pieces, which sometimes doesn't always work out. What's also annoying is if you drop them in like all clumped together in one group under those tubes, sometimes it sucks up multiple at the same time and doesn't count all four. Like it might count two as one because they're so close together. The sensor only sees it as one. But so far that hasn't happened, so that's good. Yeah. Alright, so that was pretty decent. I guess we only really messed up the conveyor belt part. The rest was just minor mistakes. That's fine. Got this cutscene of the spaceship flying away. Okay, so this is another one of the auto-scrollers. Really what we have to do is just destroy this wall. And I said that was one of the only instances of there being RNG in the game, but there are a few random parts here, but it doesn't really matter because, again, that's just... really we're just kind of waiting stuff out. PPJ has these little pieces of debris that he tries to rescue. So I destroy these enemies while he pushes those like little pink things along the bottom of the level because they're his friends. They're more important to save than the sackbots. But yeah, if you want to read some more donations, feel free.
Sounds good to me. We got $17 from Anonymous. I have never played this game, but enjoyed watching thanks to everyone in the stream. Oh, $20 from a different Anonymous. Currently writing a history essay at 1 a.m. while listening to some AGDQ in the background. I've been watching for 2 years now and love the event and the cause.
Good save.
Good luck, guys.
Oh, no.
Yeah, good save there.
Wait, I want to switch back to this. I'm very indecisive about my costume.
$100 from Arboretic113. I'm donating for someone in chat who said they wanted to donate during this run, but they're broke. And also because I want to see DKC reverse boss order. That's the kind of spirit we like here.
Oh no. Wait, why am I not dead? Okay.
$15 from the Monkey Blade / Moki. It's been so long since I've played this game. Happy you guys are still playing it and giving it the love it deserves.
I'm gonna not clip through the wall that time.
$5 from Paper Satyr. My favorite event all year. Love it and always try to donate live. Here's good luck to all the runners and a thank you to the people backstage. Thank you. $50 from Anonymous. Enjoying the runs, but can't wait for FF4. $30 I am sending towards naming Edward Spoonie, and the other 20 can go to the current runner's choice. for a good cause, and always a pleasure to see gamers come together for the greater good of humanity. We care, we love, and we are willing to use our talents to help those in need. Can't wait till the next one. Well, let's finish this one first. $100 from Blargonius Monk. DKC was my childhood, and I never knew a reverse boss run was possible. I'm 101% looking forward to that. $20 from Funny Gin Man. Shoutouts to Commander Keen in the audience. I know he's gone now, but wherever you are, Commander Keen, you are loved. $5 from Anonymous. Happy New Year and good luck to all the runners. $25 from Timothy Bailey. Hi, another donation. Please put this to announcer's choice. Greetings from the state of misery. $5 from Bubby. My girl and I love playing LittleBigPlanet. I enjoy playing it with her even though that she's bad. Hi, Liz. $10 from Anonymous. First time donating. Thank you guys so much for putting this on year after year. It's really awesome.
I'm trying to kill you this entire time, and I end up dying. That's karma. Yeah, usually what ends up happening in that level is PPJ and I get bored and just start trying to like kill each other, or just like completely lose focus. And then before we know it, all of our lives are gone and we have to actually try. We've had runs that were like world record pace that we accidentally threw because we had to play that level twice. Even though it's like the easiest level. Alright, so this level, this is another boss. It involves a lot of mashing. And PPJ's really good at mashing, so I usually take a back seat here and let him do his thing. So that was pretty quick, and then we got two things we gotta get rid of here. Oh man, I didn't get mine. Missed some shots. Usually both of us can one cycle that, but I've had like literally one shot left that I missed. So if you line yourself up just right between those lasers, you can actually survive. Really precise. See, I got it there, but unfortunately I'm not very good at mashing, so it's faster if PPJ does it. But yeah, so that's that boss. Alright, so then we skip a couple cutscenes. And then we got one more auto-scroller, but this one is a lot shorter and has a bit of an interesting part to it that I can explain when we get to it.
So many cutscenes.
Yeah. Fortunately, most of them are skippable. Oops. Maybe you should die. Yeah, okay, that was faster. So yeah, on this level, you're basically climbing this tree while riding these caterpillars. So one interesting thing though is that I can actually escape this level if PPJ goes down here. I essentially use him as a bridge, get over here, then I can just move back, move over a bit, and then move up, and then I should be somewhere. Yeah, so there I am. I'm outside the tree. I can actually fly around anywhere outside of the tree. It's just the camera doesn't follow me, so I can't really see where I'm going. The unfortunate thing is you'd think if I can just escape and go anywhere. Hold on, let me get back in bounds real quick. Alright. So it's kind of hard to get back in bounds because I can't see. But you would think if you can get out of bounds and just kind of fly around wherever you want, you could just fly straight to the scoreboard and skip everything. The problem is the scoreboard doesn't actually spawn until the very end of the level when you finish the auto-scroller, which is kind of mean of them to do that. It's especially mean because the scoreboard is spawned in at the beginning of the level, but it's only there to be a copy that spawned later on, because that's a feature of emitters in this game, which is a thing you can use in create mode to spawn other objects. You can essentially tell it to spawn a copy of something else in the level, so that's what they did here with the scoreboard. They put the scoreboard somewhere in the level, told it to spawn as a copy at the end of this auto-scroller, but then that original copy ends up deleting itself after like 3 seconds. So we spawn into the level, before we even get a chance to figure out how to get to it, it just disappears, and we're forced to finish this entire auto-scroller instead of flying to that scoreboard and skipping the whole thing, which is kind of unfortunate. But again, it's a pretty short auto-scroller relative to the other two we've had already, so it's fine. We're already at the end of it. We can just head on to the next level. So here's another New Game Plus, another New Game Plus strategy where I place this sticker and we get a helmet that lets us shoot bouncy platforms, which, as you might imagine, would be pretty useful. We can use it to skip a pretty big section of this level. So you can go up and do that, I guess. Yeah. Again, we don't want to get in each other's way here, so we just gonna let him shoot the platforms and I'm gonna die. Okay. So yeah, you can also use the bouncy platforms to essentially fly, because you can bounce off them, then shoot another, then I keep losing mine every time I spawn. Whatever. I'm gonna... Okay, cool. But yeah, so we skipped a huge chunk at the beginning there with a whole bunch of platforming and dodging those fireflies, and then at the end we just kind of used the platforms to fly to the end. We got some pretty long cycles here. This part isn't difficult. It's one of those things that is really easy, but if you mess it up, you lose a ton of time, so there's that little bit of added pressure here. I actually almost messed up as I was saying that. That's really good. Okay, it's all good. Bounce off those bounce pads to get some... Okay, it's leaving without me. Get some speed. So now I have some grappling hooks and we just ride this elevator up. But what we usually try to do is get up on top of the elevator like this, just so we can dismount it quicker. We both have, it's interesting, we both have different ways of getting up on top of the elevator. I like to swing across the entire thing and build up momentum and then just swing myself up. PPJ grabs onto the edge and kind of carefully carefully kind of pulls himself up instead of building up speed. Alright. So now I'm going to try a risky strat here, and PPJ is hopefully going to do a backup in case I mess up. Yeah, so I messed it up because there's this really tight movement where you get between like that fire on the ceiling and that sackbot that was coming over to the left. If you can get up there, it's really fast, but you really don't get much space to do it at all. So that's why PPJ stayed back a little bit and did the safe strat. So it all worked out in the end. Okay, so then we get the water cannon in this next level. Or I don't even know if it's called the water cannon. Is it called the water cannon?
I don't know.
I don't even know what the story is anymore. There's a giant space vacuum cleaner that comes and eats everything. That's about the extent of what I know. Oh, it's splash cannon. Alright, it's called the splash cannon apparently. It shoots water. It's the important thing. We use it to put out fires. Do a little bit of death abuse there to skip a cutscene. Now that I'm like commentating the run and explaining it all, I didn't realize how many cutscene skips there were in this run. So an interesting thing about these water projectiles is you can actually jump off them if you time it correctly. Unfortunately, they spawn like not exactly the right distance away from you that you can just shoot beneath you and like jump off the water as it spawns. But it seems like you can if you're up against a wall. Like you see what PPJ did there. He pushed himself up against the wall and shot underneath himself, and then and basically tried to jump off of the water to get a double jump to get up that wall. You can't just like stand anywhere and do that. It seems like it only works if you're like up against a wall or jumping off a slope or something weird.
Yeah.
If you have the Metal Gear Solid DLC for this game though, or for the first game, and you play it in this game, you can actually use the paint gun that comes with that DLC. You can actually shoot that beneath you and time jumps to like fly pretty much anywhere if you can time it correctly. I'm still shooting to the left here because sometimes some angry sackbots come and try to kill us. So I was just trying to keep them back just in case. There aren't too many, there aren't really too many strats or skips in this level. There is another cutscene skip coming up that are we both dead? Oh no. Alright, that's unfortunate. Sometimes it looks like we're shooting the water cannon, but if we're too close to the thing we're trying to shoot, then the water projectiles themselves won't actually spawn. You'll still get the water effect, but the actual projectiles that put out the fires don't spawn, so it just looks like we're kind of shooting.
Oh, it's
good.
Yeah.
Still made it. It'll look like we're trying to put out the fire, but it's just like immune to water for some reason. So that kind of happened there. We didn't put enough space between ourselves and the fire, and it ended up killing us. But it didn't lose too much time, I don't think.
Yeah.
So we got another water, or splash cannon, sorry. Got another splash cannon level. This one's a bit more difficult, has a lot more precise shots in it. forgot about these guys somehow, even though I've played this level hundreds of times. Oops. Alright, I hope I don't die. So I skipped a checkpoint there, so if I die, it sends me way back. Okay, so I got that one, that's fine. Tried to time a jump through there, but one of the stack bots spawned in an awkward position and ended up falling on me. This part, when you're playing casually, you're usually trying to be pretty careful and like shooting the fire on the ground and shooting the stack bots and stuff, but we just kind of run as fast as we can and hope that we aim in the right spot to like not die. Which is exactly what I didn't do. But it's okay. PPJ's carrying me once again. Okay. Then we got a mini boss here. I mentioned Riddle before. He found, I think it was him, he found a strat here where you can skip this boss, but again, it's really, really difficult and not really worth trying. You can jump up on its back. Oh, I thought I was you for a second. Oops. Let's just kill this guy. Okay. You can jump on the boss's back. It can fling you up onto its head, and then when it opens its mouth to shoot some fireballs at you, you end up flinging yourself off its head behind it over to like this section over here. And you can just continue on to the right to the scoreboard and you skip the boss fight. If you get it first try, it saves maybe like 20 seconds, but you never get it first try. And it's still pretty fast, especially with both of us like attacking the boss at the same time, assuming we don't die, which is apparently not a safe assumption. Okay, so this is probably one of the most difficult strats. This is a top-down level where we there's this little white ball. I guess it's a white blood cell or something. I think it's a white blood cell. Yeah, it's a white blood cell. You pretty much pick it up and throw it at things. And essentially the way it works is that once you pick it up and let go of it, it'll shoot away from you and put itself in this like glowing damage state until it hits a wall. But we can actually keep it, as long as it doesn't touch a wall, we can actually keep it in that damage state. So I'm gonna stay up here, use the boss as a bridge to get over here, catch this, push it against the wall like this. So it's just the right distance from me that it thinks I threw it, but I didn't actually. So now as long as I don't touch a wall with it, it'll just constantly do damage. So I can just sit here and like absolutely steamroll the boss. Another thing we can do is we can just like camp in front of the spawn points for each phase of the boss like this. So we can just completely skip this phase by not even letting it spawn in. And then we can cut this phase in half if I'm not bad. Okay, we can cut it in a quarter because I'm bad. I have like 1 health left, so this is probably, oh wow, I survived. Okay. So yeah, so it seems like if you have your like projectile in this infinite damage state, you'd think it'd make the boss fight pretty easy, but when you're essentially trying to like follow the boss and like essentially tackle it with that white blood cell, you get really close to the boss, and if you get too close to the boss, you still take damage. So it's easy to lose all your health when you're trying to do that strat, but that was pretty fast, so that's good. So this level has
Page
2
still
cutscenes before it, because it's a special level, apparently. Right. So here's a co-op strat. Saves probably a few seconds. Not that huge. Although in solo you can still climb to the top of those stairs and then just kind of jump off to the left instead of pulling another lever to like raise the stairs like PPJ did. So even though that's co-op exclusive, it still doesn't save much time over the solo strat. Uh-oh. Alright, we lost a cycle there. We had some suboptimal movement, but it's fine. Cool. So I did a thing there called a banana jump. I kind of just ran into the wall and jumped and did like an arc-shaped jump to get like up to that ledge. It's slightly higher than a normal jump can take you, but if you do a banana jump there, you can get enough height. And it's called a banana jump because of like that arc shape that I did. An arc jump or something like that was too boring when we named it, so we called it a banana jump. Alright, so now we got a low gravity section. This section always reminds me of like hard community levels. Like if you go online in this game and search for like for difficult community levels, it's essentially like this level, but without the slow low gravity, and with like maybe a third of the space to do anything. And I wasn't making that jump for sure. Went for it anyway. Yeah, hard community levels are pretty interesting. Like, a lot of people play the story mode, and they'll think a level is hard, but then when you see like the kinds of levels that people make in the community, it's kind of insane. It kind of opens your eyes to how deep the movement mechanics to this game can be. We've shown some movement mechanics in this run, but there's a lot more, and they can be really subtle at times. Like LBP2 doesn't really show off a lot of the movement options, I think. Like if you watch an LBP1 speedrun or something, then that's a really good example of how deep movement in this game can be. So then the game turns into VVVVVV for a second here. Except much easier. So that's played that game, it's very hard. And this is not very hard. Got a little block puzzle here that isn't really much of a puzzle because don't really have much of a choice of what to do here. But yeah, so that's pretty much that level. Got about 4 more to go, I think. Yeah, 4 levels. They're all relatively long now. So we're getting close to the end of the game. Nope, just played that level. Well, this level's pretty difficult. First half is really co-op heavy, second half just has really crazy, unpredictable movement. So it's been a while since I used PPJ as the ultimate weapon, but it's gonna happen once again. So we're gonna be chasing this like red sack bot throughout the level. Oh, it didn't work. Right. Alright, fine. I guess PPJ isn't the ultimate weapon today. Just kidding, you'll always be the ultimate weapon. Okay, so we jumped over that tower instead of blowing it up, which lets us skip that sack bot that we usually chase. But since we usually chase that sack bot, we have a mini boss fight with it here. But if it's not there, the only real choice is for PPJ to become the mini boss. So I'm basically just gonna fight PPJ here for a little bit. Got him. I'm gonna be very careful here because these cycles can catch you off guard. I just killed PPJ in cold blood. I'm sorry. I know it looked like I was just kind of being a bully there by throwing PPJ to the left, but I really just wanted to make sure. Wait, I died? Alright, whatever. I threw him away there because I wanted to make sure he was out of the way so I could grab that bomb to blow up the tower. Here, I guess we'll... I also throw him there so we can get both of these guys to chase us. So normally you have to sort of run back and forth a bit to get them both to follow you before you can kill them. Oh, so we're doing, this is completely useless, but we're doing what's called a left corner jump here. It's just an example of like one of the movement options we never get to do in this run. If you do like sort of a double jump next to a corner in a different layer, then you get a really high jump. Unfortunately, when they made LBP2, they knew that people already abused that in LBP1, so they patched it. Or they didn't patch it, obviously, if we're still doing it. But they knew about it, so they took it into account when they designed their levels and stuff. Okay, so this is where the movement gets really chaotic, because there are these rabbit vehicles, which are normally pretty tame. But we figured out that if you hold the attack button and the jump button at the same time, then like the rabbit basically goes nuts and moves really fast. But it moves really fast in like a really unpredictable fashion, so it's really hard to control. So we just kind of stumble our way through like this entire section and pray that it's fast. I'm not even gonna lie. Not looking so good. Oh wait, no, we're fine. Over the amount of practice we've done, we've started to kind of almost control them in a better way than we used to. But it's still really unpredictable. Mostly because the way those rabbits work is if their feet are touching anything, then you're allowed to jump. Like even if you're just kind of like grazing up against a wall, then you can jump. If you hit the X button, you're going to bounce off of it. And then the attack button just kind of charges you in a direction, or it charges you down. But if you're holding the jump button, then I guess they cancel out and you just end up boosting in some direction, depending on some factors that I'm not totally aware of. All right, so I tried to maintain some momentum there, just to get to these sack bots faster. If you maintain your momentum too well there and fly past that that section where the sack bots spawn, they actually end up despawning for some reason. Then you're left with like 2 instead of, I guess there's 6 or 7 right now. Never counted. Yeah, the more there are shooting at like these enemies and stuff, the better. It's just faster. Yeah, this level also just feels like a mess at times, because with the fact that we both have grappling hooks combined with the random like sackbot army, combined with like the terrain just kind of being all over the place, it ends up being kind of tricky to speedrun without too many mistakes. We're doing pretty well so far. Again, probably looks messy because of all of the times we're dying. Again, it's usually one of us dying, not like one of us dying so that the other person can do something solo, not like accidental deaths. Pull the lever.
Oh.
Alright, that was an accidental death, I'm not even gonna lie. I got it. So I'm gonna wait up here, and then when that door opens, I can actually swing off the lever there and get a speed boost to like bunny hop past this section. Ends up being faster than just running across. So here we just kind of split the arena down in half, and each of us handles our own half. It ends up being really fast. Assuming the stack bots like actually aim correctly. It's kind of out of our control though. Alright, you should be able to make this cycle. Okay. So PBJ jumped before that cutscene, and his momentum carried him a little bit further, which let him get to that enemy before I'm dead. Uh-oh. Let him get to that enemy a cycle earlier. I keep not finishing my sentences. Oh, didn't quite make it. Okay. There's that grappling hook auto aim again. Very careful. For some reason that lever is really hard to pull sometimes. But yeah, we got it. If the robot cycle lines up perfectly, you can actually bounce off that last bounce pad and head over to the right instead of jumping into the robot's head to pull that lever. And if you jump to the right and then jump off the fist like just the right way, you can make it over to the scoreboard without that like 10-second cutscene happening. But it has to be the right cycle, so we usually, if we don't see the cycle like that, we just go for the intended route instead of trying to wait it out. Alright, so we got one last auto-scroller in the game, so if there are any donations left, feel free to read them.
Oh, there's always more donations.
Excellent.
First, we got $5 from Etty. It says, PBJ, PBJ, PBJ! And a shout out to my boy Malachite for donating his time to help the event in these wee hours. $50 from Anonymous. Loving AGDQ After Dark. Keep up the good work. Another $50 from Lenora Ruel. First AGDQ I've tuned into, and I loved watching the previous years on YouTube. Good luck to all the runners out there, and let's kick cancer's butt. P.S. Save the gnome. He has a family too, you know? That's for the Left 4 Dead 2 speedrun later on. $50 from Rasputin. Oh boy, it's AGDQ. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. $5 from LNG. I love AGDQ and I'm currently forcing my GF to watch it with me. She'll come around. Good luck to all the streamers from California. And why not the rest of us? $5 from Nathaniel184. Hi guys, Happy New Year from France. It's been a few years, but I've been following the event and you're all so awesome. Thank you for your hard work, your passion, and for showing that we can all matter. Nathaniel. Thank you. $20 from Eddie49. LBP2 is the game that made me want to make video games in the first place. I hope someday I can make one that can be run during a GDQ event. Good luck on the run, and good luck with making games, my friend. $100 from Anonymous. It's my first time donating. I lost my father and grandmother to cancer 5 months apart from each other back in 2003. I put this money toward Luigi as the final level character for the Super Mario 3D World run. $5 from Fire Thief. Here's a donation for you to read during the autoscrollers. I wrecked my sleep schedule again just to make sure I won't miss this run. Good luck and have fun. Wonder if the final cutscene crashes this time. $11 from Chaos Torrent. My mom died from cancer 11 years ago, and now that I have a job, I want to donate $1 per year. Here's to kicking cancer's butt and to DKC Reverse Boss Order. $5 from Anonymous. Hey AGDQ, second year I watch you all. Got diagnosed at age 16, am now 23. The gaming community helped me a lot through my chemotherapy. Keep it up. $5 from Iron.